Hi guys, today we'll be talking about a poem and a painting about suffering that hides in plain sight by W.H. Hutton. The poem is about suffering and how people tend to ignore it or overlook it. That explains a lot today in our generation, how a lot of people are just walking down the street with their heads in their phone on Instagram or TikTok and not really aware of their surrounding and just not caring if anything is happening to someone else as long as it not happened to them or their family. The main thing are indifference, the human condition, and the notice of suffering. It explores how suffering often occurs unnoticed alongside everyday life. Now let's talk about pathos, ethos, and logos. But before we get in that, let's talk about the tone of the poem. The author observed human suffering with a sense of mild resignation rather than outrage or sorrow. It was like he was trying to make us imagine it in our head. He wanted the readers to actually imagine it rather than just reading it. If you don't understand, let me paint a picture for you. Imagine you're looking at a painting where a guy is falling from the sky, but everyone else is just going on about their day on Instagram, TikTok, not really noticing or caring. That's kind of what the author was talking about. He wanted us to imagine that figure in our head. Now let's talk about pathos. The author used a sense of detachment and mild discomfort, like the poem I'm finna put on the screen. The poem that I put on the screen, it creates a sense of discomfort and highlight the indifference to the pain and creating an emotional response for the readers. Now let's talk about ethos. The author used ethos by talking about the old man that's in the poem, showing that he is familiar with the art history and suggesting that he observed and aligned with the wisdom of these respective figures. This reference leads to authorities to his perspective on suffering and human nature. For example, he said about suffering, they were never wrong, the old master, how well they understood its human position, how it takes place while someone else is eating or opening a window or just walking and minding their business. Now let's talk about logos. The author used the foreign landscape of the man falling from the building to support his argument that people often ignore the suffering of others if it doesn't have nothing to do with them or a loved one or a friend. They don't care because it's not messing with their everyday life or it's not messing with their loved ones. Thank you for listening. That's all I have to say.